The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule of investment is don't forget the first rule. That's all the rules there are. If you buy things for far below what they're worth and you buy a group of them, you basically don't lose money. Warren Buffett is reportedly worth over $100 billion. From a shy boy selling Coca-Cola door-to-door to molding Berkshire Hathaway into a billion-dollar empire, the Oracle of Omaha has remained one of the richest men in the world. What makes him unique among the wealthy is that he didn't inherit his fortune, nor did he acquire it by innovating technology. Instead, he grew his wealth by winning consistently in the stock market. So how did he do it? What did he do differently where so many others have failed? In this video, we're going to learn how Warren Buffett beat the stock market and became a self-made investment billionaire, starting from the very beginning. Warren Buffett was born in Omaha, Nebraska in August of 1930, just 1 year after the Great Depression hit the country. In his early childhood, he noticed how people struggled to make a living due to the severe economic crisis and quickly learned about the importance of money. Luckily, his father was a smart businessman, and although he had recently lost his job from a local bank, he used what little savings he had to open his own company selling stocks and bonds, and from this was able to provide enough for his family. Growing up, Warren was a shy and quiet boy who spent most of his childhood alone, often reading books from his father's library. It was there that he developed an early obsession with investing and the game of business. Eager to put his new knowledge to use, he approached his grandfather, who owned a local grocery store, and asked if he could provide Warren with drinks so that he could sell them around the neighborhood. His grandfather agreed. And so at the young age of 6, Warren started his first business selling Coca-Cola door-to-door and making 5 cents for every 6-pack. He soon added more items to his small business. And just a year later, Warren was selling chewing gum, magazines, and Coca-Cola, while making a decent profit for himself. By the time he was 11, he used all of his savings to buy his first stock, purchasing 3 shares for himself in an oil and gas company called City Service, with each stock valued at $38.25. Shortly after buying them, their value dropped to around $27 per share. Despite the anxiety he felt, he held on until their value rose to $40 before selling them. Although he successfully turned a profit, he noticed those same shares later shot up to over $200. The sting of missing out taught him an important lesson. 75 years have gone by, and I've never known what the market is going to do the next day. That's not my game. My game is to decide whether I am in the right economy and by owning good companies for long periods of time. These early experiences and mistakes helped young Warren become much wiser than the average boy his age. A few years later, his father was elected to serve his first term as a U.S. congressman, and the whole Buffett family moved from Omaha to Washington, D.C. there. Warren got his first real job at the age of 14, delivering newspapers for the Washington Post. Unsatisfied with the money he earned, he took another job with one of their competitors, the Times-Herald, and began delivering both simultaneously. Earning $179 per month, just over $3,000 in today's currency. He later used his earnings and savings to buy a pinball machine with a friend and installed it at a barber shop. Soon after, they bought 2 more machines, splitting profits with the shop owners. Eventually, they sold the machines for $1,200, and Warren used his share to buy his first property, a 40-acre plot of land in Nebraska. The craziest part? He was just 15 years old when he bought the farm. After graduating high school in 1947, Buffett wanted to begin his life as a full-time stockbroker. His father, however, wanted him to go to college, so Warren enrolled at the University of Pennsylvania and paid for his studies with the earnings from his Nebraska farmland, which he rented out. After obtaining his bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Nebraska, he was rejected by Harvard for his master's degree. That rejection turned out to be a blessing in disguise, leading him to enroll at Columbia Business School, where he met Benjamin Graham, a teacher who would change his life. Graham, an economist and investor, had just published The Intelligent Investor, a step-by-step guide on how to invest successfully without speculating by buying undervalued stocks. Warren quickly became one of Graham's best students, and he would go on to describe Graham as the second most influential man in his life after his father. After receiving his master's degree in economics, Buffett was eager to kickstart his career on Wall Street. But there was a problem. Warren, though brilliant in business and investing, was still an introverted 21-year-old who was terrified of talking to new people, sometimes so nervous he would throw up. Determined to overcome this, he enrolled in a public speaking course, which turned out to be one of the best investments of his life. Investing in yourself is the best thing you can do. The more you learn, the more you earn, he later said. Not long after, Graham contacted him and offered him a job at his investing firm in New York, which Warren gladly accepted. There, he mastered the art of security analysis, learning how to determine the real value of a company through balance sheets. But philosophical differences soon became clear. Buffett cared deeply about how companies operated and the quality of their management, while Graham focused purely on numbers. Despite their disagreements, Buffett learned invaluable lessons. By the time Graham retired in 1956, shutting down the firm, Warren had grown his savings from $9,800 to $175,000 and gained priceless first-hand experience running an investment firm. That same year, at just 25 years old, Buffett returned to Omaha and started his own partnership, Buffett Associates Limited. Despite having enough to rent an office, he ran the business out of a bedroom in his house, managing it alone. Friends and family invested a total of $105,000, and Warren began applying Graham's methods with his own twist, buying companies so cheap that even their liquidation value was worth more. A tactic he called cigar butt investing, like a discarded cigar with one free puff left. These companies could be bought, held briefly, and sold for profit. This strategy worked brilliantly, growing his partnership from $105,000 to $7.2 million in just 6 years. Although many people doubted the young-looking investor, those who trusted him saw huge rewards. Between 1956 and 1969, his partnership averaged a 29.5% compound annual return, 4 times better than the overall market. By his late 30s, Buffett was managing over $104 million. Still, he worried about rising stock prices and followed his famous motto: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. By 1969, he dissolved the partnership, wary of risking other people's money. Though he had already built his personal fortune to $25 million. Buffett's next move was transforming Berkshire Hathaway. Originally a struggling textile company, its stock traded at $7 despite assets worth $11. This shift paid off massively. By the late 1970s, Berkshire stock had climbed from $11 to $290, and Buffett's net worth had grown to $240 million. What really accelerated his wealth, however, was entering the insurance business. Insurance companies collect regular premiums and hold vast reserves of cash, known as the float, which Buffett realized he could invest for additional returns. Beginning with National Indemnity in 1967 and later acquiring companies like Central States Indemnity and Geico, Buffett gained billions in capital to invest in moated businesses. Most notably, he bought a 7% stake in Coca-Cola, a company with unmatched global brand power. From there, Berkshire's portfolio skyrocketed. By 1990, its stock traded at $7,000, and Buffett's personal net worth surpassed $1 billion. Over the decades, Berkshire acquired or invested in countless top-tier companies, including Goldman Sachs and Bank of America. By 2008, Buffett was the richest man in the world. Yet despite his immense wealth, he remained famously frugal. Still driving a 2014 Cadillac XTS and often eating McDonald's for breakfast. The Oracle of Omaha has lived by principles of discipline, patience, and integrity. More than anything, he will be remembered as the man who understood the game of business and investment better than anyone else. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe Moonajik channel and like the video. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.